In the summer of 1953, deep inside the corridors of the Central Intelligence Agency, a secret project was born, one that would blur the lines between science and nightmare. It was called MKUltra, and its mission was as audacious as it was terrifying: to control the human mind. The Cold War had ignited a frenzy of paranoia, and whispers of Soviet brainwashing pushed the CIA to ask a question no one dared voice aloud. What if a person's thoughts, their very identity, could be rewritten? What if memory itself could be bent like steel in the hands of a blacksmith? To find the answer, the agency funneled millions of dollars into hidden laboratories, spreading their operations across prisons, hospitals, military bases, and even unsuspecting universities. Doctors in white coats smiled as they slipped colorless drops into water glasses. Patients swallowed pills without knowing they contained doses of LSD powerful enough to unravel reality.
I feel like we're on the right
And
path.
prisoners volunteered for therapy sessions that will air anything but healing. The experiments were as varied as they were cruel. At 10 a.m., in a converted hospital ward, a prisoner was strapped into a chair, electrodes pressed against his temples. A doctor adjusted a dial, and electricity surged through his brain. At 2 a.m., in a motel room in New York, a CIA operative poured whiskey for an unsuspecting guest, never revealing the drink was laced with hallucinogens. In hidden chambers called safe houses, prostitutes were paid by the agency to lure men in, only for the encounters to be observed through two-way mirrors as scientists studied the effects of drugs and manipulation. The walls themselves seemed to breathe with secrets as lives were quietly shattered in the name of national security. Some subjects never knew they were part of the project. In small towns and college dorms, experiments were disguised as medical studies or psychology research. A student signed his name on a consent form, believing he was helping science, only to wake up hours later unable to remember his own address. Others were less fortunate. Patients in psychiatric wards were given daily doses of chemicals until they lost all sense of time. Some were kept awake for days under bright lights and blaring noise, their sanity peeling away layer by layer. The stated goal was to understand how to break a person down, so they could be rebuilt into something else, something controllable. But the truth was even darker. Many inside the project began to wonder if they were playing God with fragile minds. By the mid-1960s, whispers spread within the CIA itself. Entire lifetimes were being rewritten in sterile rooms, while outside, families never knew why their sons and daughters had returned broken, unable to speak, unable to remember. Files grew thicker, filled with transcripts of hallucinations, sketches of impossible visions, and notes scribbled in the margins: subject lost, irreversible, memory wiped. The human mind, it seemed, was not so easily tamed. And then, in 1973, everything came crashing down. As political scandals engulfed Washington, orders were given to destroy the files. Truckloads of documents were shredded, burned, erased from official history. But a mistake was made. In a forgotten storage room, boxes of financial records survived. And in those boxes lay the first undeniable proof that MKUltra had existed, that hundreds of lives had been shattered, that the United States government had sanctioned experiments worthy of science fiction. The revelations stunned the public. Hearings were held. Victims testified. Senators sat in silence as men in suits described drugging their own citizens, hypnotizing them, breaking their minds in the hope of unlocking secrets of control. But even then, not everything was revealed. The surviving files were fragments, pieces of a puzzle too massive to complete. Thousands of pages were missing. Entire experiments had vanished without a trace. Some of the doctors who ran them had died. Others had disappeared into quiet retirement. And the truth of what was done in those locked rooms remains, even today, incomplete. For decades, conspiracy theories have thrived in the gaps left behind. Did the CIA ever succeed in creating a perfect assassin? A mind wiped clean and rebuilt to obey commands? Were political figures, perhaps even world leaders, manipulated under the influence of MKUltra? Or did the project collapse under its own ambition, a graveyard of broken minds and wasted lives? The answers may never come, but the scars are real. Families still search for explanations. Survivors still recount nights filled with vivid hallucinations they never asked for. And history itself carries the weight of what happens when power eats fear in the shadows. MKUltra was supposed to be erased. Instead, it became a legend, a ghost that refuses to fade. And perhaps that's the most chilling truth of all. Because if the CIA was willing to test the boundaries of the human mind once, what's to say they won't do it again?